Hello there, this is Logan Christopher from Legendary Strength and LostArtOfHandBalancing.com. And in this video, I want to talk about handstand push-ups. Specifically, the ultimate way to make progression with this movement. And we'll start with that. But after that, we're going to go into one detail that in all the people that teach handstand push-ups or recommend it as an exercise, I never see this point covered, yet it's major and just as important as everything else. So first, we'll start with the progressions for the handstand push-up. In this exercise, you're handling your full body weight, or just about all of it. Depending on if you lean, you can actually take a little off, but basically your entire body weight you're pressing up using the arms, the shoulders, and the chest can be involved too. This is a lot more than most people could handle. It definitely was for me when I started out. But the way to do this, because the handstand, just holding it against the wall, is really easy, you just start increasing the range of motion of what you're doing. So for instance, I can take these steps here and I'll just lower until my head touches them. So I only have a partial range of movement. So it's real easy. Then I can go lower, and just by working this way, if you have something you can work with that has smaller increments than the 3 or so inches that these steps are, you can easily work up to doing the range of motion to where you're going and touching your head to the ground. Now, some people call this the handstand push-up. It's also been called the headstand push-up because you really are going to a headstand position. This by itself is really just a partial range of movement as well. So if you want to go further, you eventually actually work up to a full range of motion. And the same form of progression can be used that entire way. Until you are doing full range handstand push-ups just like that. So now that we cover that, I want to detail an important part that can actually make these handstand push-ups, besides changing the range of motion, easier or harder. Now there are about 4 different things like this, but I'm going to be sharing with you one of these today, and that is how far apart your hands are. Your arm width when you're doing these. Notice that if I keep them really in line with the shoulders, then my hands have further to go than when I'm lowering down to touch my head to the ground, regardless of where else I am. As opposed to being wider, I don't have to go nearly as far. So this is a way without raising or lowering your hand or head position, but changing the range of motion you're doing just by your hand placement alone. So if you go wide, that is much easier to do, an easier form of handstand push-up, one in which you'll definitely be able to work up to cranking out reps than if you have a more narrow hand position. Now, neither one of these is more correct than the other. Some people may say you really want to have the shoulder width. Yes, but you can use these different placements to make the handstand push-up easier or harder so that it better fits you and what you're working on in that moment. So like I said, this is only one of about 4 different ways you can easily change your body position to make handstand push-ups easier or harder. None of them are necessarily better than the others. It all depends on where you're at and your strength level, so you can adapt this exercise to make it suit you best. If you want a whole lot more information, be sure to check out the Ultimate Guide to Handstand Push-Ups. That can be found on legendarystrength.com, also LostArtOfHandBalancing.com. If you want to learn a whole bunch more about this exercise, how to train it, how to put it into your workouts, as well as moving into even more advanced skills like doing freestanding handstand push-ups, then you'll definitely want to check this book out.